All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Blackfire. You're first today. No doubt about that. You are first, indeedy. Morning, Zhang. Good to see you. Good morning, Command Bar. Good to see you guys. Hope you all are doing well. Hope your days are off to good starts. Hey, Ducky Dev, dude, it's been forever since I've talked to you or seen you in my chat. Hope life is going well for you, man. Hope you've just been busy. I mean, obviously, I get it. We all have, we have lives and stuff, but it's been a minute, man. Hope you're doing good. Good morning, Voltaire. Won't be around for long. Oh, that's all right, man. I appreciate you stopping by just to say hi. That's super kind of you. Command by arm first. Yeah, I think you were first on YouTube. Although Blackfire beat you to it on Twitch. So you weren't like the global first person, but you were the locally first person. Zhang, it's 4 p.m. here. Oh, nice. Well, I hope you have had a good day so far, Zhang. We're literally on opposite sides of the world because it's 4 a.m. here. Command Mard. Nah, I mean I was first joined. Yeah, you were first joined on YouTube, just not first joined on Twitch. All right. Here we go. Oh, I probably should check Discord real quick. Not dedicated enough. Next time, join on both. Precision Pilots. I finally got you live. Oh, well, hello, Precision Pilots. It's good to see you. I didn't know you were even trying to get me while I was live. So I'm glad you're doing well. Discord didn't alert. Hold on. We got to fix that. Steven, you're now 11K. Yeah, we've been slowly just moseying along, showing up every morning, and for whatever reason, people still keep subbing. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. Ilmani in different angle. Yes, I moved my desk around a little bit. I had an ultra wide monitor that I wanted to put to use, so I kind of shifted my existing two monitors over, and then I put my ultra wide over here, and then that lets me and the ultra wide sits a little bit lower, so now my camera can sit a little bit more to the front of my desk instead of so much to the side. But yeah, different angle. Slightly different angle. There we go. Now we got Discord involved. The Discord alert did not go out like it was supposed to, but we fixed it. All right. Now we can get to work. Do drugs first before you do Rust. Yeah, I don't know how good of advice that is. Good morning, Oblivion. Good to see you. Yo, I'm gonna try Rust, but I don't even know what to do first. Rust was fun to learn. I tried to learn it using the Rust programming language book, and then this resource that chat told me about called Rustlings, both of which were good. Both of which were good. That would be for C, my friend. Steven looks like a baseball coach today? Huh. Wonder what's different about me. Why I look like a baseball coach today versus other days. Man, I love all these CS/CE shit. Grinded 7 hours at my computer today. I love programming. That's awesome, man. I'm glad for you. I'm glad you had a good day. I'm glad you got to spend it doing something you enjoy. Yeah, I love that. Good morning, Almighty. Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you. Welcome. Welcome. I got a scholarship lined up for me. Nice. Nice. What's the scholarship for? Like school or what's the story behind the scholarship? My project really made me have a good impression on the interviewers. Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah, I think projects are kind of like one of those undersold secrets of demonstrating your passion and ability, right? Z3 is the bay, Z3 is life. Huh, I guess I don't have much experience with Z3, but I am very excited for you that you are enjoying Z3. Good morning, Danny. Good morning, Rampla. Good to see you guys. Let's see, Blackfire. Yo, I need some help. I have the. That's exactly how I start a lot of my sentences too. Yo. Yo, I need some help. I have the motivation to code, but low key, no clue what to code. Any ideas? So, when people have asked me this in the past, my go to answer, and it's still my go to answer, is I just try to scratch my own itch. I try to solve problems that I have and that I understand well. And sometimes, so I would say like 95% of the time, things I build is just about solving my own problem. And like the other 5% is more about solving problems that somebody has told me about or I've learned about. Usually it's somewhat related to work stuff. And I think, I could write some code to solve that. So that would be my advice is like in your life, it generally personal, professional, like be on the lookout for problems or like pain points, friction. And when you experience those things or hear about those things, be ready to think about how technology might play a role in solving that. And then you can start to think about, well, what would that technology look like? What would that experience look like? And then go from there. That's 90, like I said, that's 95%. That's actually 100% of how I end up building the projects I end up building. Another good piece of advice might be talk to Gemini. Talk to your favorite LLM. Thanks for the advice. I'll keep looking for problems. Yeah, I don't know. You can definitely just contrive things up. You can have Gemini give you an idea list of 50 projects and just randomly pick one, right? But I think honestly the value in working on software is building things that benefit you or somebody else or that give you the opportunity to learn a new skill or to demonstrate some ability, right? And so I think for me, I'm kind of always trying to make sure I select things to work on that fall within that sort of uh, domain, I guess. Harvin, Steven, my man, you have to play with this academic shit. They're so interesting. Oh, the Z3 solver thing. Yeah, I'm having a ton of fun just doing like Crud Monkey building applications. Let's see, university and like one of the top 3 unis in Indonesia, depending on final outcome. Well, congratulations, Ducky Dev. I hope you get that scholarship, man. I think that would be great. Command bar, you better go learn your song. Do your homework, man. Do your homework. I genuinely have no problems at the moment. Well, you, my sir, are a lucky, lucky human being, Blackfire. If you genuinely have no problems, you are a lucky, lucky man. All right, now we can get to the code, huh? All right, so I worked on this a little bit last night. Not a lot, but a little bit last night before I went to bed. And I come to the conclusion that the endpoint that I have written thus far is doing too much work. However, I did get data stored into my database, which was good. All right, so let's do this. Excuse me. Blackfire, indeed I am. Hey, man. Soak it up, right? Soak it up. All right, I think I... Oh, I also fixed the Dadbot UI thing. Because that was broken. But I did get... Hold on. Did I? Did I make this up? Did I hallucinate this? I could have sworn I got this working last night. I wonder if I deleted all the data. I think I deleted all the data. Let's see, my users are still here. Yeah, my users are still here, but what's Dadbot? It's like, well, I guess it's not really Dadbot. It's not. It's a NeoVim plugin that lets you look at databases in NeoVim. This guy, the modern database interface for Vim. It's pretty cool. Bob Knoll was the one that recommended it to me, and I hadn't been using it last week, or really for the last couple weeks, because I had accidentally broke it somehow trying to add a connection, and so the plugin would never render because it had a messed up connection in the JSON file that it uses to persist the connections. But yeah, this is it. This is what it is. Here, I'll post a link in chat. 1 second. Vim Dadbot. Why it's called Dadbot, I don't know. I'm guessing there's a story behind it. If somebody knows what that story is, as a dad, I would love to hear it. All right. So, apparently I deleted all the data. So, we can now go through the close. We can go through the do I want to recover it? No, I just want to delete it. Okay. I littered this with to-dos. Steven, not committing DSL be like DSN, I meant to say. What are you talking about, Arvin? Good morning, Zen Gaming. Did you try Spring Boot? I have not tried Spring Boot. I've actually never written any Java code ever in my life. I've read some Java code, but I have never written any. Danny, when are we going to see Steven coding OCaml? I don't know, man. My new language meter is pretty tapped at the moment. Or like pegged to full at the moment. It just, we spent so much time, dude. We spent all the month of November learning Go. Then we spent all the month of December like using Go to solve Advent of Code, which was kind of like a continuation of the learning. Then we spent most of January learning Rust. So at this point, I'm just having fun, like being back in a language that feel confident in and capable in, you know? So I don't know. I don't know when OCaml or Java or any of these other languages will show up. We'll do something though. We have a lot of year left ahead of us. I say that, but already 10% of the year is already gone. I don't know if you guys knew that, but 10% of the year is already gone. But we have enough time left that we can mix in some streams where we take a break from building stuff and maybe tinker with a couple languages, and then, you know what I mean? We can, what do we call them, like palette cleansers, you know? Arvin, you said you messed the Dadbot connection config. I'm saying you should have committed the DSN to some repo. Oh, what does DSN stand for though? I'm not familiar with that. I'm sure I'll see you coding OCaml and Zig one day. Zig for sure, because Zig's been on my list already. It was between Zig and Rust actually. So Zig's definitely on my list. OCaml I don't think I have on my list, but I can add it. Alright, so what do I want to do today? Okay, hold on very quick before we do this. I just want to show that this works. I just want to prove that this works. .NET Watch. But obviously, oh, also, if Bradley's here, I don't think Bradley's here, but I did take Bradley's advice and I moved some of that logic, the mapping logic, into these extension methods. So that made this a much more succinct. Uh-oh, I broke something. The type namespace change, either eliminate the conflict. Okay. That's fine. I can eliminate the conflict. Oh, data source name, the string you pass to database driver that includes all the important config, like database name, port, name, library, or args, like encoding, etc. Oh, I've never heard anybody refer to it as data source name. I've always heard people refer to it as like the connection string. So I've never heard of that acronym before. But yeah, you probably don't want to commit that to a repo though. Yeah, definitely don't want to do that. What? Learning Zig now? Not yet, Bob. Hold on, Bob. Hold your horses before you start applying the peer pressure again. Wait a minute. Slow. No, at some point, I would like to try my hand at Zig, just because I've heard people that I respect talk highly about it. I've also heard people I respect talk highly about OCaml too. So Danny's suggestion, I think, is probably a pretty valid one too. Was the database client libs have different strings for user/pass, by the way? Well, I don't know. I mean, a Postgres connection string is the same, regardless of what client or driver you're using connect to it. Same with opening a SQLite database. Like, the connection strings are pretty universal. I mean, the database client libraries might have a different API, but like, the pieces of information that you need to pass to connect to a given database are always going to be the same, because internally all those libraries just turn it into the same connection string, right? So, but you wouldn't want to commit your connection string information to a repo. Like, that's not a good idea, right? Because there could be sensitive information in there. I mean, there may not be, but there could be. +1 on OCaml. Okay, uh-oh. Are we developing? We're just don't peer pressure me yet. I fall too easy to peer pressure. So just nobody start chanting OCaml in chat or sending lots of text to speech messages telling me to learn OCaml. Nobody do that. That won't. Or Zig. That wouldn't be good. Okay, so here's my test token. And we'll put it over here. So if this works correctly, we should get a 200 response, which we do. And then we should be able to go look in our database. Although I gotta be honest, when I open DBUI, I don't care for the window layout. Now if I look at accounts, you can see we have a bunch of Plaid accounts. And these are tied to a particular institution, which is all the same. We have our integration ID, which is where we're storing the credentials to connect with, created by, updated by. So it works. Okay, but here's the thing. It's doing too much. It's doing too much. It's doing too much. I wonder what's the best way to... I don't really know how to... I don't know what the best way is to organize my windows. It's kind of a pain to like open and close the connection. Maybe I should just run NeoVim in another terminal with the DBUI open. I think that's what I'll do. Let's see, program. No, endpoints, add account. Rust. Rust is inspired by OCaml, but more useful. Oh, interesting. I heard somebody yesterday on the Primeagen stream say OCaml is basically Rust, but garbage collected. Does that make sense to you guys? Does that Oh, also Twitch. Sorry, I accidentally filtered out your guys' messages. If you've been talking, sorry. Let's see. Control Shift T. No, that's not what I want. Control Shift T. DBUI. Let's open this guy. So we have accounts, we have account metadata, we have okay, what am I trying to get at here? I'm more of spending all my time just switching windows and rearranging windows right now. What do I want to call this? Vim. That's a database. Let's also make this a little bigger. I don't know. Agree to disagree. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I had never heard.
Become best friends?
Thank you very much, Zayed, for subscribing. Appreciate that. Cyberlink, have I tried the Z editor? I have, but I've only tried it for about an hour, and that was like almost, I don't know, 8 months ago at this point. Yeah, so it's been a little while, but no, I tried it and it didn't really like grab me, right? So like I didn't stick with using it. All right, so first things first. let's figure out how we're going to connect all these entities to users. So that's a problem right now. We have all this data in the database, and basically we have all this data in the database, but none of it's connected to the user who actually initiated the account addition. So let us delete the institution we just added. Let's see, this would be list, just fine. Let's see, this, I want to close, yeah, close. Or actually, what I want to do is I actually want to open it. Hold on. So I want to do W, split this. I want to put in this window, I want to put my W, split that. Okay, in this window, I want to put my data. So this would be that guy. Okay, and then we want to do, let's see, institutions, and we basically want to delete this person. I guess I get to practice my SQL skills with this UI, which is probably good. Let's see, delete, how do you do this? Delete from, that's not right. Delete from institutions where ID equals this person. Oops. This is where a GUI actually might be faster. Okay. So we deleted that, and then we also need to delete the integration. So we need to say select, not select, delete from integrations where ID equals the guy down below. How do you jump around buffers? How do you jump around? Yeah, how do you, I gotta figure that out. NeoVim, move buffers without control W, without spamming control W. Toggle between the two most recent buffers with control 6, which we talked about the other day, but that's jump to a specific buffer, use the command buffer number. Leader FB, moving a buffer to a different window or split. Yeah, I don't know. Because it doesn't look like either of these things are showing up as buffers. So it looks like only the queries show up as buffers, which is kind of interesting. Split windows vertically, equally hide and wide. Max out the height. It's just painful to use this, honestly, because I'm slow. Okay, so we deleted those. Now what we want to do is we want to go back to our endpoint. Oh, whoopsies. Slim Shady. What's up, Slim Shady? I did not find the pill that helps me not sleep. I do know there are substances out there that have a similar effect, but I don't think I want all the side effects or the legal consequences that come along with them. Steven, when are you going to use the D programming language? Probably never. I didn't even know the D programming language existed until like 2 months ago. Bob Knoll, there are pills to help you not sleep. Trust me, I have narcolepsy. Okay, so are these pills like side effect free? Do I need a prescription? Will anybody show up at my house wanting to arrest me for possession of these pills? What even is the deprogramming language? I don't really know. It is a language though. I just Googled. Someone mentioned it in chat one day, and I looked it up, and it's a real thing. D-lang. I'm not really sure the history behind it. It's a general-purpose programming language with static typing, systems-level access, and C-like syntax with the D programming language. Write fast, read fast, run fast. My monitor is way too bright. Good morning, Born to Shine. Good to see you. Thank you again for being a member. Appreciate that as always. Yeah, so I don't know anything about it. If anybody in chat wants to opine on it, I'm happy to learn more, but I don't know very much about it. Rewriting all my code because I couldn't find the bug, not a pleasant experience at all. Hold on, wait. Hold on, wait. Ilmanian, you had a bug that was so bad that you just decided to rewrite the... No way. Bro, that's painful, man. I don't think I've ever been that fucked up. I'm sorry, man. That sucks, dude. That is painful. That's super, super painful. Let's see. You need a prescription. I have never experienced side effects. Have been taking for 20 years. Interesting. Okay. So you're telling me if I get diagnosed with narcolepsy, I might be able to make my dream become a reality. Basically, garbage collected C++ or Go with C-like syntax. Interesting. Very interesting. All right, what the fuck am I doing here? Focus for a second here. Before we do anything else, I want to make this endpoint less. I want to make this endpoint do less. So, what we're gonna do is we are not going to add accounts here. That's not going to be something we do. This endpoint is only going to serve as a way to connect. And so I think I'm going to put this under a connect action. Excuse me. And so this will go somewhere else. So all this will do is we will exchange the token, get the account, get the item, store the integration, store the institution. Yeah, that's all we'll do with this endpoint. We also need to encrypt it, so that's something that we can do as well. There's 3 calls here. And these 2 calls can probably be actually made simultaneously because they're not dependent on each other. We also don't need this one anymore either. So for now, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to return, what do we want? Connect. I guess connect should probably just be a 200. So we'll do 200 and then we'll return maybe just the institution ID for now. I don't know what else our front end would need to know about other than it was successful. Maybe the institution ID. So we'll do let's see, ID equals institution ID, like that for now. To do create proper response. Okay, and then now let's take care of this one. So that takes care of that to do. We don't need this anymore. The access token needs to be encrypted. Okay, so in order to encrypt the access token, we need the user. And in order to get the user, we need to make an authenticated request. So let's go to our program CS. Let's go down here to where we're mapping add account endpoints. And we want to say that we... Actually, I don't know. Does this, since I have authorization on, does that just apply default to all? I think that applies to all endpoints by default, doesn't it? I think I have to explicitly opt out. Let's see if I try to do this again and I try to say send. Oh, this should be not add account. This should be connect institution. Or yeah, connect institution. And then this will be connect. Okay, that worked. So I need to explicitly set it. So we will do .require authorization like this. I don't think I have to. I think it'll just use the default. Yeah, because I set these up here. I don't know though. Should I think what's going to happen is I'm going to forget to add this to an endpoint. So I feel like there should be a way. Let's see, C#.net enable or like apply auth to all endpoints by default. let's see, all endpoints after use authorization will require auth by default. That doesn't seem to be happening. Minimal API, apply auth by default.
Did we just become best friends?
Hey, Rushwell, thanks for subbing, man. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you. I also fixed that alert. I don't know if you guys have noticed, there haven't been YouTube subscriber alerts for like months. And I thought, well, I guess no one was subscribing to my channel during the stream. Turns out people were subscribing, but the alert was broken because you have to connect StreamerBot. You have to connect StreamerBot to Stream Elements for you to receive the new subscriber alert from YouTube. So, pro tip. Hello, I'm new here. Well, hello, unfunny guy. Good to see you. Welcome in. Hello there, Gun. Good to see you, Gun. Hope you're doing well. Okay, so what this is telling me is it's basically saying, hey, if you've applied this, it should just work. But it doesn't just work. Hello, Ezzy Wizzy. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Good Highs, damn, you got 10K plus subs, bro. Congrats, bro. Next milestone, 69K? Yeah, 69. That's quite a milestone. Let's see, not to beat a dead horse, but Rust is directly inspired by OCaml because it's a typing system. Haskell has the same, but uses Damus Henley Milner, which restricts they all spawn from ML. Interesting. I'm not aware of any of that stuff. I mean, I know about Haskell. I don't know about Damus Henley Milner. I don't know what that is. Must be a type system. That I'm not super deep in all the academic parts of this. I'll allow beating the dead horse as long as it vindicates me. Yeah, you can make your point as long as it helps make my point. I have my bachelor's degree in computers and physics. I'm very bad at coding, and I'm thinking of going cloud security. Uh, I I would have to guess you're a very smart, intelligent human being if you have a degree in computers and a degree in physics. So I have no doubt if you really wanted to be good at coding, you probably could be really good at coding, but maybe coding just isn't what you're interested in or want to be good at. So I don't think there's anything wrong with pursuing something different. And I think in cloud security, you'll probably still get the opportunity probably to interact with code, right, in some way, shape, or form. Um, yeah, the whole security space, right, is huge and big and ever present and always important and will be important for this foreseeable future. So, seems like a useful profession to go into. Rust was most influenced by Python. Changed my mind. I don't know any of the story behind Python, or I don't know any of the story behind Rust beyond some guy at Microsoft started it as a side project and then it eventually grew into what it is. But I don't know much more than that. I don't know much more about the guy who founded or who created Rust. I don't even think I think the guy who created Rust doesn't even he's not even involved, I think, in the day-to-day work on Rust. I think he's moved on to other stuff. I think he's actually writing Swift now. I think is what he's doing. Last time I looked it up. Since I'm bad at coding, can you give me any advice about how I should start? I really wish I had a better answer because this is the answer I give time and time again when people ask this question, but it's the honest truth is it's just reps, unfunny guy. Like it's just lots and lots of reps. It's sitting down and solving lots of problems with code and exploring different languages and exploring different paradigms, exploring different approaches. Um, yeah, it's. I know that sounds probably not trite, but I know it just sounds like, oh, okay, Steven. So you're saying to get good at programming, you just program. That is what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. Uh, Unfortunately, I don't know of a better answer. Unfortunately, but if chat has any more pointed advice, I will let them step in and offer it because there are some smart folks. There we go. So we're unauthorized. Okay. We are unauthorized now. I meant to go the other way. I fantasize about being a physicist. I know that's not practical or probably possible. I only have an associate degree. Yeah, I think at some point when I was in college, I thought I might actually want a career in academia, doing something with. I thought when I took organic chemistry one, after about 6 weeks of organic chemistry one, I thought, man, I want to do this for a living. Like I want to do whatever involves working with this stuff for a living. And that lasted probably, I don't know, till the end of the next semester. Because then I found out like what the job prospects looked like for people that do that for a living in academia or in industry, and I thought, I don't think I want that life. But I hear you. Put your fingers on the keys and push them until a program comes out. I love that. I love that advice because it validates my advice. uh, Being bad at coding means you can get better, and you'll come to see you'll always be bad in one shape or form, which is why one keeps coding to learn more. I love that, Oblivion. That's such a positive way to frame it. So many people look at it from the perspective of like, I'm down here and I have such a tall hill to climb. But the way you framed it makes it feel much more like I'm just getting started and look how much I still have to accomplish or do. It's a very positive. Steven, don't use Postman, use Insomnia instead. I like Postman, dude. I like it. I like it. Just let me use Postman, okay? I just recommend put your mental effort into coming up what you want to create instead of how to become better. Yes, I like that. Yeah, what do you want to build, right? What problems do you want to solve? And then go try to solve them. And in the process, you'll get better. I'm going to start with networking and stuff. Okay, go for it, unfunny guy. Go for it. You don't want to do physics. It's going to take your brain and make a smoothie of it. Yeah, I didn't take much physics in college. My degree was in biochemistry, and the only two physics classes I had to take were Physics 1 and Physics 2, neither of which were calculus based. And I hated Physics 2 more than I hated Physics 1. Physics 1 was all like classical Newtonian physics, and then Physics 2 was more like electromagnetism related stuff, and I did not enjoy either class. I did enjoy physical chemistry, though, but I did not enjoy physics. I originally pursued a PhD in, I think, cohomology, or was that supposed to be cosmology? I'd never heard that term before. Oh, it's a math. Okay. But I realized that getting hired sucks and is way more political than tech or anything else, really. Yeah, that's what I kind of saw. After talking to one of my professors, my advisor in college, it just seemed like having a career in academia was kind of hard. Not that that's the only path for a physicist, right? But like, what else are you going to do? How else are you going to be a physicist if you can't spend all your time doing physics? And what company is just going to pay you to do research all the time? Let's see. Cohomology is an algebraic tool in topology and geometry that assigns a sequence of abelian groups to a space to classify its holes or structures. I have no idea what that sentence means. I know what algebraic means. I roughly know what topology is, but I don't think I know what it is in this context. I'm aware of geometry. Yeah, Kirk, it sounds like you were going down quite a rabbit hole. See you, Arvin. Have a good day, man. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Physicists do well in HVAC with planning airflow and designing ducts. Interesting. Unfunny guy, you're a full stack dev. I don't know if I'm a full. I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would like call myself a full stack dev. I can definitely do stuff on the back end. I can do stuff on the front end. But like I'm more of like a, what is it? Master of none. What's that term? Jack of all trade. Yep. There's some saying people use for that. Yeah, like I wouldn't really say I have expertise in any one given thing, but I feel comfortable working front, back, database, you know. I'm good enough to be dangerous. All right, what are we doing here? So we need to get the user, right? So now we can get the user ID. So we can say var user ID equals HTTP context dot get user ID. It's a little extension method we wrote. And then we can get the user from the database. So we can say var user equals await. Oh, is Copilot on? DB, let's see, DB context dot users dot find. Oops. Users dot find async. And then with the, so the reason why we have to pull the user out is because we want to encrypt our access token. We also need to connect our institution to our user. But the more important thing is we want to say var encrypted access token equals encryptor or something. We'll say from services jack of all trades, master of none. Yeah, that I think that's the saying I was looking for. I mean, I think to be a master at something, you really need to devote so much time and effort to it, right? It's got to be pretty all-consuming in a lot of ways to really develop real expertise in something. So we need user, plain text, and cancellation token. So let's do user goes here, the access token goes here, and then we have to pass in the cancellation token, which we should be able to get up here. We should be able to say cancellation token. And then this is going to complain because we're not forwarding that to other places. I don't like this music. Single single or default u.id equals user ID. Then we have to pass all this. This is going to complain because user is potentially null. Let's see if user is null. Let's see. Are you okay with using var? I heard it's not stable and could lead to possible debugging issues. I am totally fine with using var. var is definitely completely stable. It's been around in C# for a long time now. They're not going to just rip the var keyword away from people. That would be dangerous. You shouldn't have any debugging issues, right? When you view it in a debugger, you'll be able to see the type of that variable. You can also just see the type of the variable with your LSP if you want to just hover over it and see. I know some people like explicit variable naming. I just don't. I just don't. I know some people like to prefer to type it like this. It's not my preference, but that's purely stylistic. But yeah, it's perfectly safe to use. It's stable. No debugging issues. Been doing it for a long time. Lots of other people do it too. Noonie, your keyboard sounds super creamy. Well, thank you. Thank you. I like the sound of my keyboard. Yeah, I like my keyboard a lot. And it wasn't, the best part about my keyboard is it wasn't terribly expensive. That's the best part. I don't think I want to I don't think I want to do this. I think I'm just gonna throw. I think I'm just gonna do that. So now that we have the encrypted access token, let's actually do that down here. So now that we have the encrypted access token, we aren't going to pass that. That's what's going to get stored in our database, like this. And then
I like to say something.
What's your fave food?
that's easy. My favorite food, I think, is probably Thai food, specifically pad Thai. That's probably my favorite meal. Like normally I don't get to pick what we eat out. Like usually my wife or my kids pick. But if I get to pick what we eat out, that's almost 9 times out of 10 what I pick. It's good. It's coding Batman. It's good to see you, Destroy. Good to see you. There we go. All right, so we already are encrypting it. That's good. The endpoint is protected by auth. Now all the entities need to be connected to who they belong to. That's the next thing we need to do. Now, how do we do this in a way that's not painful? That's the question. That's the question, because almost everything in my database is going to be attached to the user. And so if I have to remember to explicitly set it on every single thing, I'm probably going to screw that up. I bet I can use interceptors. Entity Framework has this idea of interceptors, and I'm using them already I'm using them for something. Timestamps, that's what I'm using for. So I have an interceptor right now that just goes through, and anytime we update the entities, or anytime we save changes, we look and see, okay, do we have any entities that are being added or updated? And then if the entity is being added, we set the created date, and if it's otherwise, we just set the updated date. Oh, you know what? This is a bug. Oh no, it's not. Because we're gonna set it in both cases. So if it's added, we set it. Otherwise, we only update it. Okay. So I think what I could do is I think I could have something like a user ID interceptor. But how do I get access to who the current user is? We'd have to have some sort of maybe we can't use interceptors. Because see, that interceptor would need to be able to access some sort of scoped service to resolve the user ID. So let's ask, well, let's just Google first. So entity framework interceptor, can they access scoped services from DI? Don't know the question. Let's see. Yes, entity framework core interceptors can access scope services from the dependency injection, provided they are registered correctly. Register the interceptor as a scoped or transient service in program.cs. No, registering as a singleton, yeah, that makes sense. Add DB context, add interceptors, my save changes interceptor. Oh, that's cool. That's a much better way of doing this. All right. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that we will have, so obviously we'll have our DB context, right? So let's just call this DB. And then whenever we save the changes, we'll have an interceptor. Whoops, that's the wrong thing. We'll have an interceptor like this. Enter. And what the inner will do is the inter will use some other service to figure out who's the current user right now in this context, in this scope, right? So we need some sort of like user store. Because I don't really want to query for it, and I don't really want to have to pass it. So I just need some sort of scoped thing. I've never done this before, so if this is a bad idea, tell me. But if you've gone down this road before, let me know. But it definitely seems like what I should be able to do is, okay, let's start small. Let's go to our institution. No, let's go to our plaid institution. Let's see, feature add auth to connect endpoint. Oh, this was refactor rename class. Top of the morning to you, Kittleson. Good to see you. rename endpoint out. Okay, so let's start small here. Go up to the endpoint. So when we create the integration here, we should have to pass item ID, the encrypted access token, but we should also have to pass the user ID, right? So we should force us to connect this to the user ID, like that. And we should have to do the same thing here too. To institution, and we should have to pass in user.id. Which means then on our integration, we should have a foreign key into our users table that is like public GUID. Oh no, this should be on the integration, not this one. This should be on this class. So we should be able to say public hold on, why doesn't this? So I guess an integration belongs to an account. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, so we definitely need to have a public GUID user ID getter knitter, and then our users are going to have a private read-only.
Sticky Man is telling you to drink some coffee.
Sticky Man, thank you so much for doing that. Actually, this is like the last little bit of it. We need to make more. It's time to refill the coffee. Do I know of Terry Davis? I do know of Terry Davis. I have kind of a complex thoughts around Terry Davis. I know a lot of the dev community. A lot of the dev community seems to lionize him, and I'm not sure he's the right individual to lionize because his life was just very, very tragic. He did very difficult technical things, but the way his life played out was kind of tragic to me. But I do know who he is. Kittleson, heart the schema. Well, thank you very much. I don't know if it's a good schema, but right now we're trying to make it work for what we're trying to accomplish. So, what are you gonna do, right? What are you gonna do? Let's see, a private read-only list of integration. This will be integrations. Well, I should already have that. Is it in the global space? Divine intellect. Yeah, I don't know. That's the part where I'm kind of conflicted on Terry Davis because people say stuff like that, and it seems like he was a very smart individual because he did some very technically difficult things, but I don't. It also seems like he was a very troubled human being with a lot of struggles. Yeah, I like that. I like that public void add integration. Hold on. Hold on. No, this. Hold on. I don't think I want to do that. So I don't think an integration necessarily needs to belong to a user, because as long as the integration belongs to an account, right? Because 9 times out of 10, what this is going to look like is 9 times out of 10, what this will look like is, user wants to do something, but user wants to do something in the context of a particular account. And so then through the account, we'll get the associated integration. There's probably not going to be a reason to ever go. Yeah, there's probably not ever going to be a reason to just look at a user's integrations. I don't know. Maybe there is. There's definitely not yet a reason to do this, though. That's for sure. I don't need to add a navigation property there. That's definitely not needed. But maybe connecting integration to the user is a good idea, but we definitely don't need to. And then let's go to, let's see, imagine having Terry Davis and Linus Torvald as your mentors. I don't think I would want Terry Davis as a mentor. I don't think I'd want Linus Torvald as a mentor either. Linus does not seem like he would make for a good mentor. He seems like he makes for a great engineer, but I don't think I want Linus Torvald as my mentor. He doesn't seem like a good coach. Let's see, we talking about the Temple OS guy. Wasn't he just one dealing with a lot of mental issues, and two just an example of how knife edge it is between genius and insanity? I guess, but the thing is like, why do people claim he was a genius? That's the thing. It's like I mean, I understand he built an operating system, right? Super hard technically, but other people have done that. So I'm not sure exactly why the developer community kind of lionizes him in that way. Maybe I just am missing part of the story, but like from what I understand, he was diagnosed as a paranoid schizophrenic. He did some really difficult technical things. He recorded himself doing a lot of these things, and then he ultimately ended up passing away in a very tragic way. So yeah, again, it's like I don't know. I don't think I'd want to be mentored by him. I definitely don't think I'd want to be mentored by Linus either. They would be the harshest kung fu masters of code. Yeah, Linus, I think, would be a harsh person to. He seems like he would be probably a difficult boss, a difficult manager, a difficult coach. I don't think he would be the guy I'd pick. I don't think he's terribly. He doesn't seem terribly interested in developing other folks, in my opinion. Maybe I could be completely wrong. I mean, I never talked to the man, but based on what I see of him on stage. Bob, there's an agentic coder I've been following the last 3 weeks. He might be experiencing AI psychosis. Up to $10,000 per month on AI subs. Holy shit! Rewriting SQLite, Ghibli C, and file systems. I mean, I guess if you're gonna do something, go big or go home. But 10,000 per month? That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. That's like real money. That's like life-changing money for most people. That's crazy. Gilson, respect. Not all cool, famous people should be worshipped. Yeah, I don't. There's not very many human beings I worship. There are definitely human beings. There's really no human being I worship, but there are human beings I admire and look up to. That I would love for them to take me under their wing, right, and be my coach or be my mentor, however you want to put it. But yeah, I don't think either of those guys would be my choice. Good morning, Inspire. Good to see you. I have no words. Yeah, I have no words either. That's real money for sure. One person project, 100,000 plus lines of code. Yeah, that's wild, man. Sensei Steven, take the chat under your wing. Oh, I'm definitely not qualified to be anybody's mentor. I'm doing my best to raise my two sons, man. Somebody asked about my coffee. Yeah, Kittleson, you asked about my coffee brew method. Right now, I'm currently stuck on this drink called a long black. It is basically, it's from down under. I guess if you're from New Zealand or Australia, it might be familiar to you. It's basically the inverse of a, also what that is that was a very risky Google search I just did. I so yeah, this is the inverse of an Americano. So what I do is I put hot water in the coffee cup, and then I pull a shot of espresso on top of the hot water, and that's my current go-to. Got a haircut right now, about to ball with some readings after the shower. Nice, dude. We'll have a good haircut. Destroy. I know he's a good sport about all the dumb questions and comments. Just living life, man. Just living life. Hey, address my question about getters and setters. Oh, I didn't see it. What did you say about getters and setters? Oh, what's the difference between get init versus get set? So get init means that if you were to new up one of these, like if you were to do something like this, new integration, you would then be able to set user ID to something. This is valid, this is okay, right? But if you try to do this, you tried to say integration user ID equals squid.new, this would not work, right? It also would allow you to do, but you could do this if you were in the constructor. So if you had a constructor here that was like private integration, then you could do user ID equals, and you could set it directly. So basically, it's just it's a setter, but it's a setter that's only available either during the object's initialization, whether you're newing it up inline or you're doing something in the constructor of that class, which kind of pushes you towards kind of an immutable. The reason why I like using init setters is because it kind of pushes you towards an immutable approach, right? Where once you make an object, the properties on that object are pretty much set, and they're not going to change unless you expose some sort of method to mutate or change that property. I know people have different feelings about this. This is not very idiomatic C#. In a lot of cases, most people would just make this a public setter and move on with their life. I always start with init until I have a good reason to make a setter public. And even then, if I'm going to make a setter public, I'll usually do a private set like that. And then I'll expose some sort of method that's like public set user ID. And I think that's just from over the years of writing programs. It seems like most of the time programs become really difficult to reason about when you're sharing references around your code base and it's not totally clear. And basically you're sharing references and anybody can change that reference, especially then when you're in a multi-threaded environment. So that's why I kind of always default to some form of immutability, and the init keyword kind of gets you to that. Now, when it comes to collections and things of that nature, then you get into a little bit different, collections or reference types that are properties, then you have to do some other kind of things to try to protect against that immutability. But that's why I use init myself. I kind of default to init, and then I'll open it up as I need it. Picked up a PowerEdge T430 today, $200 Facebook Marketplace. Nice. I don't know what's a PowerEdge T430. Is that a computer? You're excited about it, so I'm excited for you. But I don't know what that is. PowerEdge T430. This is a versatile 5U rackable tower server designed for... Oh, nice. That sounds really nice. Cool, man. So what are you going to do with it? Oh, wow, they are kind of pricey. I guess new. Yeah, brand new. They're kind of pricey. Well, that's good, man. I'm glad you what are you going to do with it, though? That's my question. Do a little home labbing. Local server. Nice. Data store. I like it. Damon Piper, what are you building? We are currently trying to build a personal finance app. That's why I called it Physical OS. It's basically going to be a place where I have monies spread out across a bunch of different accounts, and those accounts are then distributed across a bunch of different institutions. So it's really valuable to me personally to be able to have like a single pane of glass where I can see kind of all my account balances, all the transaction data, and be able to categorize that transaction data and do that all in one place. And right now, I use a tool called YNAB. You need a budget to do it. And I'm trying to replace that because I don't really use much of the functionality in that tool aside from their ability to connect to my bank accounts. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to use my skills as a developer to basically create kind of the minimum viable application that I actually need. And so that's what we're building. Kilson, I would have paid $50 for the reverse Americano tip, and you're not even my coach yet. All I drink is Americanos. Now probably all reverse. Yeah, the Americanos are good. I mean, honestly, it's like half a dozen of the other. Like, who knows if it really makes a difference? But that's currently the way I'm making my coffee. What about Andreas Kling? So Andreas Kling, he's the guy that's building the Ladybird browser, right? Is that who that is? Andreas Kling. I think that's who we're talking about. I think he's the Ladybird browser dude. Yeah. I think he's great. I've listened to a couple interviews that he's been on podcasts that I've listened to. Seems like a super smart guy, right? Seems like a crazy, ambitious, very capable engineer. And I think it'll be super exciting to have a browser, a new browser engine, I guess I should say. I think that will be good for the world. And last time I checked, it's supposed to come out, right? Let's see, Ladybird browser. I think it's like 2027. Oh no, early adopters 2026. So some of you who are early adopters will get to try an alpha in 2026. I don't know how you get on that list, but that's pretty cool. Good morning, Artwork Studios. Good to see you. No worries about missing stream, man. You can miss the stream whenever you need to. I'm sure you got a life. Ladybird is Hank Hill's dog. No, Ladybird is a new browser. That's what Ladybird is. Kilson, is this an internal Steven only tool or possibly public or open source? It'll be open source. Yeah, it's all on my GitHub right now. It won't be like I probably won't have a hosted version that people can like sign up for and use just because I don't want to be responsible for anyone else's financial data. But I'll definitely build it. I'll definitely expose it publicly in a way that like if you wanted to sign up for a Plaid developer account and you wanted to configure the application and you want to run a Docker container with, if you want to set up the hosting or run it locally or whatever, you'll definitely be able to do that because I'll have to get it into that type of shape to deploy it for myself and to host it myself. So yeah, it'll be something that other people can hopefully take and use if they want. Once you like the taste of the long black, it's very hard to add milk to your coffees. Yeah, I don't know about all that, David, but I do. I usually do drink my coffee black. Although, of course, there's always days when you want a little bit of sweetness in there. I'll pay you to mentor me. Let's fucking go. We may even worship you soon enough. Yeah, no one should worship me, and no one should pay me to mentor them. Bob, but I found he charges big corporations $10K an hour for consulting fees. No idea how that life works. Well, Bob, are you saying Linus charges people $10,000 per hour? That's crazy. I managed to be PA system guy. Only 4 positions available. Me plus my friend got 2 positions now. Looking for 2 more. Well, congratulations. I'm happy for you. I'll pay you to let me worship you. Hashtag cult. No. Yeah, no cult. We don't want any cultish vibes over on this channel. No, the agentic coder dude. Okay, the agentic coder dude is making 10K for consulting fees. Oh, so and that's basically how he's justifying spending 10K a month on AI usage. I don't know how I feel about that. Because the greedy person in me makes me think, okay, how much does it cost to purchase Steven.aiconsulting.com? Yeah, the greedy person in me is like, let me get some of that AI money. But then I guess the moral or the ethical person in me is like, that seems a little sus. Like, I just wonder, like, do these people who are paying the consulting fee, do they know what they're getting, you know? Who knows? AI consulting is a scam. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I think there's probably definitely some of that going on. There's just so much money in the space, right? Like, if it's Web3 all over again. Yeah, it sounds like a solid business plan. I don't know. I don't even know what to think about all this stuff anymore. I'm trying to keep my head down, enjoy programming and coding, continue to get better, focus on my family, love my kids, love my wife, read lots of books, make content that's fun to make. You know, I'm just trying to focus on that stuff. I forgot what the fuck I was doing. I lost the plot again. I'm trying to connect the integration and the institutions to the user. That's what I'm trying to do. So I'm going to add a foreign key here, and I'm going to add a foreign key over jar. Excuse me, over I want it to be on the integration and the institution. So I'm going to add it here as well. So this will be user ID. And then I guess I know I was saying like I probably shouldn't have I'll probably never use them. So let's go ahead and then go to our DB context. Steven, do you guys celebrate Chinese New Year? No, I do not. And that's not because like I think Chinese New Year is a bad thing. It's just like not part of my, not part of my culture, the culture I grew up in. Okay, institution has one metadata. So then institution eb.has one static well, I guess we should probably do this on the user property. Let's do it here. So we'll say eb has many static u dot institutions with one static I dot user ID that has foreign key. I don't really want to have to repeat this for every single entity that needs to be connected to a user, though. See, with one has foreign key on delete. It's basically all this stuff. And then the same thing is going to need to be repeated for the institution, or sorry, the integrations. Let me flip these. Integrations. Institutions. Good definition of the user. Private read-only list of integration. List of integration. Why I feel so slow in Vim? You're telling me, buddy. I think it just takes time. I think it takes time to like wire all the connections in your brain, right? To get the muscle memory and the thought and like connecting the two and doing it quickly. And then I think it also takes time to get good at the different movements. Like there are some movements I don't even know about. Like there's a guy that used to come hang out in my streams named Butterscotch who would just be like, hey, don't do that, do this. And so yeah, I'm like a white belt. If we're talking like Vim foo skills, I'm a white belt.
Take my financial data. Squeeze. Fee fee fo 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 la la li li li.
Bob, thank you very much for that laugh, and thank you for your dono. I appreciate that very much. Let's see. I worked in logistics and manufacturing for over a decade, and we honored Chinese New Year's, but didn't celebrate it. Yeah, I don't know if many companies here in the United States honor it. I don't celebrate it, or anything like that. But I don't know if many companies here honor it as a holiday. I used to work for a Japanese company, and at least here in I worked for a U.S. subsidiary of a Japanese company, and we just had American holidays. So I'm guessing I would guess most countries, most places, right, probably just honor whatever the local population's holidays are in general, if I had to guess. My Chinese zodiac is the cock. Well, good for you, man. Good for you. Let's see. I don't know. I've been reading his GitHub nightly to fall asleep and using some of his projects. He's onto something. Really interesting. So, Bob, when you look at his projects, do you think that it would be worth spending 10,000? Like, do you think it's a good investment of time that he's or not good investment of time? I guess good investment of money. Like, would you do that? Just the money thing just seems kind of crazy to me. I just can't conceptualize spending $10,000 on software or $10,000 to build software. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why I love software so much is like you really don't have to spend any money to build software these days, right? Everything's open source. Or there's usually some option that you can get your hands on that's open source and free to use in some capacity. It's just wild to me. Did someone just upload malware to my brain? No. That was text-to-speech, and text-to-speech brings out the best in us. I celebrate it because it's my culture and also because it gives me free rest days. Hell yeah, man. Holidays are the jam. Bob, I didn't put that many E's in it. It improvised. I think it's really weird that the models like trip over multiple letters. Like if you enter a lot of E's, a lot of T's, a lot of multiple characters in a row, for whatever the text-to-speech models trip over that. My zodiac is dragon. I like it. I like it. I don't know what mine is. Probably not dragon. Steven, what year were you born in? I was born in 93. I am 32 years old. Let's see, Bob. If I made 10,000 per hour, I'd do it. Seems exhausting though. Oh, he charges 10K per hour. Okay. Yeah, if someone was willing to pay me $10K per hour, I might. If someone was willing to pay me $10,000 per hour, dude, I would change my tone on vibe coding so fast, so fast. Sign me up. Let's see, $10,000. Like what? How? Like what is that? Let's say 10,000 per hour. So let's say you work 40 hours. That's $400,000 in a week. Let's say you net 70% of that after taxes here in the United States. Let's see. You net 70%. No, let's say you net 60%. Let's be like taxes are real aggressive, right? So let's say you net 60% of that is $240,000 a week. If you wanted to get to $1 million, let's say you need $2 million earned. Let's see, what was the number? It was 240,000, right? That's like 10 weeks of work. Yeah, you could work for 10 weeks and you'd be fucking done with work, basically. You'd be a millionaire in 10 weeks. Easy. Easy. I'm a little suspicious of the claims that he's making 10K per hour, though. If I'm being honest. I'm a little suspicious. that's why I'm a little suspicious of his claims. I need to see receipts, bank accounts, statements. Hand them over. His client must be Amazon. Yeah. I don't know who his client is. I missed something. Who's doing 10,000 per hour? Bob has been mentioning that he's been following an agentic coder that's been using a ton of AI to rebuild some core pieces of technology and stuff. And sounds like he's been saying he's making big claims about what he's earning, and that's what we're talking about. Some random. Someone in that equation is smoking crack. I'm a water rooster. What does that mean? Let's see. Destroy. How do I do text to speech? Text to speech can be done, I guess, 3 ways. You can do super chat here on YouTube, which is anything over $1. I think here on YouTube. You can also go to this website I built for donations called Grounds for Support. And if you make a donation here, the message that you enter gets read out on stream if we're live, of course. And then you can also, if you don't want to spend any cash to do text to speech, you can go to Twitch, and Twitch gives you channel points, and those channel points can be used to redeem different rewards on the stream, and one of those rewards is text to speech. And the Twitch stream is at twitch.stephenfreeborn.com. So those are kind of the three ways you can do text to speech. Either pay $1 or suffer ads on Twitch. Dude's name is Jeffrey Emmanuel. Okay, Jeffrey Emmanuel. Interesting. No. He's not earning 10K per hour. He's just charging 10K per hour. Yeah, but still, I mean, if you're a one-man band, well, okay, that's fair. So you're spending 10K a day. Okay, let's.
I like to say something.
Can you guys hear that helicopter?
No, I can't hear the helicopter, Uncle Pee-wee, but thanks for making sure we were aware of it. He's got 1,000 jobs postings on Fiverr and just saying it's AI. Interesting. Well, I mean, let's just break down the business of this, right? To your point, he's probably not making 10K, right? There's overhead and stuff involved. But let's say he's even making, I don't know, let's say his margin, let's say he nets even 30% of that. That's nuts. Right? So let's say let's say he's working in the United States, the government takes 30% of that hourly fee off the top for self-employment taxes, FICA, all that stuff. 30%, let's say 33%. Then let's say he has another 33% of operational overhead cost, right? So like the AI he uses and pays for tokens and maybe a variety of hosting services and stuff. That still leaves them with $3,000 an hour, which is still crazy. That's in an 8-hour day, $27,000. Like that's still nuts. I mean, yeah, I get your point, but that's still crazy. I would need to see some bank account statements to believe that, though. That's just nuts. It always turns into E. It does. I don't know why. I was doing NBA betting a while ago. Did 10K an hour a few times. Also had negative 10K hours though. Hold on, you earned $10,000 an hour doing betting, dude. You're a risky dude. I'm so risk adverse. I won't even bet $10 on a sporting event. Bob, there's no way he's booking 40 hours per week at 10K an hour. Yeah, I call bullshit on it myself, Bob. But like not in like a I don't think it's possible. More like in I just think that's a very, very hard thing to do, and I think I need pick. What do I want to say? Pixart didn't happen. Let's see. I think it's occasional bookings for training. If you're paying somebody 10K an hour to teach you about AI, when you can go watch a 3-hour video from Andre Karpathy on YouTube for free. You're getting ripped off, man. You're getting ripped off. I don't know how else to put it to you. Let's see. So why are you complaining? Cannot and complicitly from... Oh, I'm an idiot. Wait, what? Oh, whoopsies. Whoops. Integration, there you go. So we need a public user nullable. The code guy. I like that username. The code guy. Man, what do you think about tech jobs nowadays? Not big ones, small firms. I think that's yeah. I think those are largely overlooked. I mean, my job. I don't know. My company I think would be considered a small business still. But yeah, I mean there's just a lot of tech roles out there that aren't with Fang or with big tech. I don't think there's anything wrong with getting a tech job at smaller firms. There's probably if you're somebody like me who didn't go to school. Oh, I just realized I forgot my orange in my pocket. If you're someone like me who didn't really go to school for computer science and you tried to break into tech, it's probably far easier to break into tech at smaller companies than larger ones. To kind of get your start, get your foot in the door, gain experience. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Bring the receipts, Mr. 10K. Yeah, I mean, I hate to be that guy that says Pixar didn't happen, but like, I mean, if somebody told me I deadlifted 500 pounds one time, I'd be like, well, that's cool and all, but where's the video? I mean, it's 2026. You should be able to back up your claims with some amount of evidence, or at least be okay with the fact that people might be suspicious of what you're claiming, I guess. Shiv, hey Steven, are you coding in the terminal? Yeah. So I use I use NeoVim, or I use NeoVim sometimes. That's what this is right here. This is NeoVim running in PowerShell, or it's I guess I should say it's NeoVim in PowerShell, and PowerShell is running in Windows Terminal. Is what you're seeing on the screen at the moment. I've only been using NeoVim for about a year, so I'm relatively still a noob, but it's been a lot of fun, and I'll probably continue to use it as long as I find it enjoyable. But I use other things too, like I use VS Code, I use Writer, I use Visual Studio. So don't take my usage of NeoVim as like me saying this is the only way to code or this is how everyone should do it. It's just I took a little bit of a side quest the last 12 months and ended up here. NeoVim, the superior way to code. Yeah, I never want people to take that from any of my content though. Like I want people to know that I'm not trying to like by using something, it doesn't mean I'm condemning something else. Like the fact that I use C# doesn't mean I don't like Java or I don't like some other language. It's just I like that language, so I use that language. Doesn't mean that it's the only way. David Bailey, I was playwright scraping all bookmaker odds for prop bets, average odds for prop. If bookmaker had 4 to 5, 6% above the average, place the bet. In my eyes, no risk involved, but the fund ended when I got banned across the board. Yeah, that seems like the equivalent to like something like counting cards, but for digital sports betting, David. Let's see. It's raining for how one person can run multiple agents simultaneously to get a lot done. Different from Carpathy. Aren't good free resources that because it's expensive as fuck. Oh, okay, interesting. So his consulting is trying to teach people how to be a 10x agentic developer. I see. Interesting. I still kind of look at that and think, I think that's a lot of smoke and mirrors. Sounds like someone's teaching you how to light a bunch of money on fire, in my opinion. Sounds like that's what the name of the consulting service should be. How to torch money. Shiv, I just make a video how to do a setup. I'm using VS. I don't know if I'll ever make a video how to do a complete NeoVim setup. I think, Shiv, if you're interested in NeoVim, I would send you to somebody else on YouTube, the same guy who kind of convinced me to try NeoVim. If it was me, if you're interested in NeoVim, I would send you over to this guy named Typecraft. He is far more knowledgeable and capable than I'll ever be, probably. At NeoVim, and he has a great course called NeoVim for Noobs. I'll put the link here in the chat so you can check it out if you're interested. Whoops. But I'm probably not gonna ever. I have some NeoVim videos on my channel, but I'm probably never gonna sit down and make something like this just because somebody's already made it and it's already good, and I don't think I have much to add to the equation. So. Let me ship this over to you, Shiv. There you go. Yeah, Typecraft's good. Yeah, he's a good YouTuber. Much better YouTuber than me. Far superior than I. Good morning, you lass. Good morning, Uncle Pee-wee. He uses TextPad with CVEs. I do use Notepad. Can you guys believe that Notepad had a remote code execution? I put it in Discord. But it's pretty wild. Let's see. Where was it? Yeah, here you go. Put the link here. Windows Notepad app remote code execution vulnerability. Improper neutralization of special elements used in a command in Windows Notepad app allows an unauthorized to execute code over a network. So apparently what this was that you can because you can open markdown files in Notepad, somebody concocted some sort of Notepad or some sort of markdown file that had a link in it that when you clicked the link, it did something that like elevated privileges or gave the ability to get access and run arbitrary code. This is the thing I wish sometimes. I know why they don't detail it out, but I really wish they would give like, here are the steps to reproduce. But like, who would have thought? I mean, it's Notepad. Why is Notepad dangerous? Let's see. How could the attacker exploit this vulnerability? An attacker could trick a user into clicking a malicious link inside a markdown file opened in Notepad, causing the application to launch unverified protocols that load and execute remote files. According to the CVSS metric, the attack vector is network and user interaction required. What is the target context? The malicious code could execute in the security context of the user who opened the markdown file, giving the attacker the same permissions as the user. So if you're a admin user, right, or somebody with admin privileges, that could be bad. Random. Here are the steps to reproduce. Well, you know, as somebody who works in QA, I just, you know, I want minimum viable reproductions. Microslop strikes again. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. I mean, I hate to dunk on people though. Like, I'm not gonna I wouldn't dunk on Microsoft. Like, I hate, because I'm sure one day I will build something or do something that has a I'm sure I already have. The problem is that nothing that I've ever built has enough users or has enough scrutiny for anybody to care about it not being perfectly secure, right? So I always hate to dunk on folks because I know this shit's hard, and I know it's always evolving, right? Difficult to keep up with. Funny Jocks, what exactly is this NeoVim though? NeoVim is just a terminal-based editor. If you've never heard of it before, it's pretty cool. It's like if you've heard of Vim, NeoVim is basically a fork of Vim, but it has all kinds of extensibility to it. I'll link it up here if you want to go read about it a little bit. But it's a pretty cool tool. Let's see, you're on YouTube, aren't you? At Funny Jocks. There you go. It's just that they announced embracing AI, then after they've been shipping broken and vulnerable stuff right after. Yeah, true. Well, they announced, as you guys see, they announced a. So historically, I don't know how much you guys are in the Microsoft lore or follow much of the Microsoft kind of developer story. But for a long time, Microsoft had both software engineers and then they had SDEDs. So they had software development engineers and they had software development engineers in test. And then I think like 10 or 15 years ago, they basically like passed an edict that like there would be no more SDETs. There would only be software development engineers, and engineers that both build the product would also be responsible for the quality of said product. And then just recently, they announced, let's see, Microsoft announced they were setting up a new position called, I think it's called like Vice President of Quality Engineering, which is kind of a brand new role. Yeah, this is new. So now there's this guy Charlie Bell. He has been at Microsoft working on, I think, security related stuff for Microsoft, but now he's being moved into basically he's being put in charge of like engineering quality, which is kind of interesting, right? Because it's like for the longest time they didn't supposedly have a need for somebody who was focused on that, and now that I don't know, I'm not saying the two things are connected. Correlation is not causation, so I'm not saying that because AI, because Microsoft is embracing AI to write code, that now they need somebody who's focused on code quality or engineering quality. Like, who even knows what that really means? But I think one could try to spin that narrative if they wanted to. Don't use it; it traps you in the matrix. Then are you saying that about NeoVim, Uncle Pee-wee? NeoVim is a pain in the ass to learn, but it's super helpful down the road long term. So I think the biggest value from using NeoVim for me personally has been Vim Motions. Like, that's the biggest value. I still think VS Code's a great product. Visual Studio is still the tool of choice for me when dealing with large .NET solutions. I like Rider, and I have Vim Motions now set up in all those places. I think NeoVim you could probably, in my opinion, take or leave. But I think the ability to navigate with your keyboard, I think is the value, in my opinion. Yeah, man, NeoVim because of Neo. Oh, that joke went right over my head. Like, whew. All right, I've been sitting here all this time and I still haven't gotten up and gotten more coffee, so I'm gonna do that now. If you've been hanging out here and you're gonna leave because the chair is getting ready to be empty for a little bit, I get it. Thank you for hanging out here. If you're gonna hang around, this might be a good time for you to.
Uncle Pee-wee is telling you to drink some coffee.
Yep, that's what I'm going to do right now. That's what I'm going to do, Uncle Pee-wee. Uncle Pee-wee. I'll be right back.
like to say something.
Steven went to go poo-pee. Oh no, Stinky.
I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Back in the ding. Nice, Uncle Pee Wee. You wait till I'm gone. Alright. So, now that we have all that set up, we should be able to come back to DB context. Everyone's happy now. So what was the point of all this? The point of all this was to be able to connect these things to a user, essentially. Which actually I think makes my code probably simpler now, because I could probably actually do this. I could actually do something like public void add institution. I'm working on Terraform and Salt deployments. I'm definitely at my wit's end today already. Well, that explains it. I've never used Terraform. I never had to do any kind of infrastructure as code stuff. That's never come up for me. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. You learn cloud when you need cloud. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I pretty much avoid public, or I avoid. I guess I avoid cloud in the sense I don't use any cloud services. I do use the cloud in the sense I have a virtual private server hosted in somebody else's cloud, but I don't really use any kind of cloud services, I guess, really. At least not at the moment. I doubt I'll ever need, like, I just don't ever envision myself building something that has the type of scale where I need to do that type of work. I guess maybe if I work for, like, if I had to work for somebody that needed that, but I think for my own personal stuff, I don't think I'll ever do something that successful. All right, so I think that means I can do this instead of doing it like that. We can then do this. So we'll just say user.add institution. And then user.add integration. And then we can save changes, and then so all these entities need to be connected to the user they belong to, which is the case now. And we can do save changes async, which is fine. We still need to do this. All right, so let's see if this works now. Endpoint.cs. Oh, we need to run a migration, don't we? Yeah, we need to run a migration real quick. See, what's your thoughts on CDN style CSS? I noticed you use it on your site. I've always been a local download guy. I don't know. I go back and forth, honestly. If it's a small little project, just grab the CDN and stick it in there and run. Bigger, maybe more longer-lived things, I can see the value in downloading it and having control over it. You know. I'm just not. Yeah, I don't. No strong opinion. It really just comes down to like how serious of a thing is this that I'm building, and how convenient or inconvenient is it to get the thing done that I want to get done. Let's see. We will connect institution and integrations to users. Hopefully this builds. Pretty useful for networking related architectures. I could see that. Yeah. I mean, I definitely see the value in cloud computing, right? And scalability and all that. I haven't yet needed to use it myself in personal projects, and I'm not employed to do that type of work, so I just haven't had a good excuse to learn it. I would definitely like to learn Kubernetes, because Kubernetes is something to me that feels intimidating. Kubernetes to me is something like Rust, where it seems like when people talk about it, it seems like it's beyond me, but I know it's not. I know I just need to sit down and like learn it, right? And so at some point, I'd like to have a better understanding of what that is and how it works and all that kind of stuff. So maybe one day we'll take a Uh-oh. Oh yeah. Let's see, the migration operation, the app is terminated. Yeah, this is a problem. This is a problem because there's already data in my DB. I don't know why, but I am an AWS certified cloud engineer. Nice, dude. That's killer. That's killer. But I love the fact that you're like, I'm not sure why I have that credential. I'm sure it made sense for you to have that credential at some point. That's funny. Okay. So we run this again. So everything that AWS has sounds pretty generic. Interesting. Troubleshooting K8 drives me nuts. I'm happy I'm not in support anymore. You used to have to troubleshoot K8? Wow. Was it tough? Like what was tough about it? Just because it's distributed? Alright, so we ran our migration. So let's go ahead and run the app again. We'll test this. Okay. So now we have to log in. So what we'll do is we'll go over here and we will say log in. Hopefully this still works. Perfect. And then we'll come back to connect institution. And we'll make sure the auth is inherited. Then we also need our token. Put that over here. Oh no. No service type of physical OS encryptor has been registered. What? Oh. This is a fact. This is a fact. That is a fact. This is why I need to start writing tests. I've gone too far down the road without writing a test. This should not be encryptor. This should be encryptor. Okay, restart this application. .NET run. No, .NET watch. Sorry, .NET watch. Okay. I think our access token should still be good. Let's try this again. Yeah, it was successful. Now let's look at our database. And let's see, we should have an institution now that's connected to the user, which should be me. Yep, Steven. We should also have an integration, which is connected to me. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Cool. That's what we wanted. All right, so now we have a way essentially. Okay, so hold on. There's some things we haven't considered yet. Now that I say that, I was gonna move on, but we can't move on yet because there are some things that we have not considered. And mainly, we haven't considered what happens when the user tries to connect an institution twice, right? So what happens when I do this? If I just send this again, if I send this exact same request again, what happens? So we created another institution, but we probably shouldn't, right? We should just treat the institution as the same institution. The only thing that we probably should create new is another integration. So we should have two integrations, but we really should only have one institution, in my opinion. See, they're the same plaid institution. That shouldn't be a thing. So we need to fix that. So how do we fix that? I'm not sure. I think I want to start writing some test cases on card. Josh, what are we building here, Steve? We are trying to build a personal finance app. We're kind of in the very early stages though, where we're basically trying to work out some of the back-end logic for connecting. I'm basically trying to work out a lot of the back-end logic before I start putting a UI in the front of it. But the idea is essentially to recreate what I used to get with mint.com. So the value to me of mint.com was the fact that I could see all of my bank accounts all in one place, like in a single pane of glass. And then I could also ingest all of the transaction data from all those accounts in one place, which was great. Then mint.com shut down, and I have since been using a tool called YNAB, which is $15 a month. So I went from a free service to a $15 a month service. The problem is, for the $15 a month, I don't really use a lot of the bells and whistles in it. I essentially only use it to collect transaction data for the most part. And then I export that transaction data and do some other things with it. So my thinking was, well, like, that's dumb. I know how to write code. I know how to build software. I should be able to recreate that same kind of minimal experience for a personal finance app myself. So that's what we're doing. We're using Plaid as our kind of financial data provider. So in the end, what I hope to have is an app that I can log into. I can connect bank accounts. I can see a list of all the accounts at each of the different banks. And then, what else? Oh, then I'll be able to see, for each account, I'll be able to see the transactions, or I'll be able to see all the transactions across all the accounts. And then the only other functionality I want to add is the ability to categorize them, right? That's what we're building. The control planes and logs were the worst. Oh, you're talking about K8s? Well, I'm glad you don't have to deal with that anymore, Uncle Pee-wee. I'm happy for you. I'm happy that you just get to work with Cold Fusion. Get to spend your days doing Cold Fusion stuff now. right? Or that's what I is it right? Am I misremembering Uncle Pee Wee? It's Cold Fusion, right? That's what you work with on a regular basis. Okay. We've got an issue here. We've got an issue here. So we always want to add the institution to the user. Not currently. I'm the team RFC and dev. It's TypeScript and infrastructure items for now. Oh, nice. Very cool. Very good. TypeScript. TypeScript's good. I like TypeScript. All right, so here's my problem. I want to make sure that the institution I'm not sure what the problem I'm stuck on is I'm not sure what like the what am I trying to say? I'm not sure what the idiomatic way to do this is with entity framework is. So basically, the conundrum I have is if it's a new institution for the user, I want to connect it to the user, but I don't necessarily want to add a new institution record in the database. Does that make sense? So I guess I just need to query for the institution first, pull that from the database. If it exists, use that. And if it doesn't, then turn the item into an institution. So I think what I need to do. Detective Jones, what coding language is this? This is C#, Detective Jones. Also, good morning. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. All right, let's try that. Let's try that approach. So what we'll do first is we always want to create the integration, right? This is our connection. This is the connection that we're creating. But the institution, I also kind of am second guessing the institution name. I feel like it should be bank, but I think the reason why they use the term institution is because the thing you're talking to might not necessarily be a bank. So maybe institution is more accurate. What do I usually do off stream, Steven? To hang out with my family, spend time with my kids, play on the computer. And by play on the computer, I mean write code, explore technologies, lift weights. I like to lift weights. Go for walks. I like to get outside and go for a long walk now and again. Watch YouTube, play video games, normal stuff. Yeah, stuff like sure, same stuff all you guys like to do. Okay, I think this is what we need to do. We need to say var existing institution equals. No, he likes to abandon us to visit family on the weekends. I do that too. I abandon streams sometimes. So let's say await db context dot institutions. Yeah, institutions metadata. Okay, this is interesting. I've never done this before, so I need some advice. We're gonna ask the LLM for some advice. Okay, I'm building a schema for my database using entity framework. I'm using a table per type strategy to represent some inheritance hierarchy in my code. The general idea is I have something like an institution, and that institution can have metadata, but that metadata is polymorphic based on is polymorphic because the provider of the underlying data is, or data could be different. Now I'm at a place where I want to identify if an institution exists based on an ID property in its related metadata. I'm not really sure I'm not really sure what the best way is to query for that existing institution. Yeah, we'll start there. Can you explain what memcache is? I'm so confused. Is it memcache? Isn't that an API or some sort of service in the .NET world that allows you to just have an in-memory cache, an in-memory store? I think Couchbase provides like a durable or persistent version of it. Like you can use Couchbase through, or you can use Couchbase to access. I can't remember exactly. Yeah, I don't know. That might be a Gemini one. Or if somebody in chat knows more about it. Memcache. It's a free, open source, high performance distributed memory object caching system. That's according to Google. I've always heard about it talked about in the context of Couchbase. Yeah, it's an in-memory key value store. Somehow it's related to Couchbase. I'm not sure exactly how though. Yeah, it looks like Couchbase uses memcache internally. So it looks like you could use memcache for kind of an in-memory store locally. You could recreate a similar experience like memcache, but in a distributed, persistent way using Couchbase. I've never worked with it directly though myself. It was 71 degrees Fahrenheit 2 days ago. Now it's 36 degrees Fahrenheit. What's going on? I have no idea. I have no idea, dude. The weather's all over the place here too. It's crazy. All right, what does Gemini say here? When dealing with table per type in Entity Framework Core, the most efficient way to query often depends on the direction of the relationship and whether you are searching for a specific provider type or scanning across them all. Since the ID property exists only on the specified derived type, you cannot query the base metadata table directly. Exactly. Here are two best strategies to handle this. You have institutions, the main entity. Yep, that's exactly what I have. If you know which provider type you are searching for, you know this is a provider AID. The most performant and reasonable way is to query the derived set directly and select the associated institution. Yeah, but then I'd have to expose it, and right now I don't have it exposed. The top-down approach. If you must start the query from the institution, you are applying other filters. You can use the of type filter or pattern matching within the where. Yes, this is what I want to do. I think. Yes, this is what I want to do. Okay, so we say we just basically use a where, just to using a pattern matching and then cast it and then check. So we're going to say institution metadata. So we'll say institutions dot where, and this will be I dot metadata is plaid institution and plaid institution and plaid institution dot plaid institution ID equals item dot institution ID. Yeah. Dot single or default. Forward. Oh, yep, I can do that. Oh no, we can't do a pattern matching in an expression tree. You lied to me. You lied to me, Gemini. Yo, you a liar. You know you can't use a pattern match in an expression tree. Tisk, tisk. I just realized we use it and I got no clue if it works. That's funny. Wait, does this cache work? It would probably, that seems like it'd be an important thing to know, is whether or not your caching layer works correctly. I feel like most people nowadays just use Redis though. You know? Seems like that's the go-to for caching. You're absolutely right. Okay, we need to start. You're absolutely right. That was sloppy use of terminology. Let's see. Combining it and the cat. Here's the correct safely. I don't think that's safe, is it? Oh, I see. Okay. I see. So Gemini was right. That's my. I misread what it wrote. That's my fault. Let's see. How do we do this? We want to do I as cloud institution like that. Oh, I.metadata. That's what I want to do. Dude, that's ugly. Now I'm kind of regretting my decision because that's ugly. I don't know. I don't know if I like that. But I could abstract this away, right? Like this doesn't necessarily if this is a pattern we have to do frequently, we can abstract that away. After the whole Redis issue on their licensing, we stayed far away. I don't. Oh, you must be on Gemini 3.0 amateur. What was the Redis issue? I'm not familiar with that. What is something you should never say on your honeymoon? Now I'm regretting my decision because that's ugly. Yeah, I'm regretting all my choices now with this whole project. I'm about ready to just like get reset hard back to before I scaffolded the thing. I mean, this is probably fine. This is probably fine. I'm not gonna let it derail me because right now I'm kind of like, oh my gosh, what have I done? Let's see, we'll do existing institution or item to institution. So basically what I'm trying to communicate with this logic is that what I'm trying to communicate with this logic is essentially that when somebody connects to their institution, in my database, I only ever want to store one copy of that institution. Right? Yeah. I'm trying to think about like what happened if I switched providers. Like if tomorrow I decide I don't want to use Plaid anymore because they're expensive, but it's still the same institution to me, right? It's if I'm connecting to Vanguard through Plaid or I'm connecting to Vanguard through now I feel like I didn't model this right. Best thinking strategy: eating your jacket string. Yeah, it really improves the performance, the problem solving performance when you do that. It's a bad habit, actually. It's a bad habit. Okay, so what am I stuck on here? What I'm stuck on is that if I have two different providers, they're both giving me Vanguard data. The way I tried to model this in the database is that I could have one institution record, and then that institution record could have metadata from Plaid, or it could have metadata from, I don't know, I think there's one out there called Yodelay. Let's see, Plaid alternatives. Yeah, Yodelay. So the question then becomes, okay, well, if I want to migrate to Yodelay from Plaid, how would I know that the thing that I'm connecting to I guess I wouldn't. I guess like I fundamentally wouldn't know. Which means maybe all of this extra data modeling I did is a waste. It's not really useful. Well, damn it. Now I'm frustrated. I haven't signed into Mint in years. Didn't realize it was dead until you started this. Why did they kill it? I think it was just a suck on their resources. You know, like it made no money. And then I think they also when Intuit bought Credit Karma, I think Credit Karma had a similar product, and so it was kind of like, well, why are we maintaining Mint.com? And then we also have this Credit Karma thing, which kind of has the same functionality in it. I think was probably the rationale there. Yeah, Mint was great. I thought it was a really great product. And it was free forever. I mean, towards the end there, it kind of got infiltrated with a ton of ads. But I mean, for a free product that allowed you to have kind of that base level of functionality, which was all I needed, right? I just wanted to have a single place where I could see all my bank account information and a single place to kind of manage my transaction data so that I could categorize things and track spend in different categories over time. It was definitely what I needed. Okay. So just sitting here thinking about this, there's really no what framework are we using? Right now I'm just working on the back end. I'm just using C#. This is .NET 10, and I'm using just a minimal web API for the back end right now. On the front end, I haven't really decided. I think on the front end right now we're between either Vue, Solid.js, or some sort of Blazor project, but we haven't really settled on it. I think right now I'm leaning towards Solid.js because I've never used it before, and this would be a interesting excuse to go and learn a new front end framework or just get exposure to it. But right now we're just working on the back end. I think I'm sitting here thinking about this, and I'm thinking, okay, so a user has already connected, like Steven signs into Vanguard. Vanguard is now connected here in my database. I have an access token that Steven can use to talk to Plaid to get information about his Vanguard accounts. Steven comes back into the app. He connects again, right? And he attempts to connect to Vanguard again. I think in that case, we don't want to duplicate the institution record. However, the only way that we can identify that they are duplicates, the institutions are duplicate, is because of the Plaid account ID. If we change the provider to some other financial data provider, then Steven comes back into his account, connects to Vanguard, but does it through Yodelay instead of Plaid. Yodelay is going to send a different set of data, in which case I guess we have to add a new institution row with different account data or different metadata. But now we essentially have two institutions. I don't know. Now I'm not. The problem now isn't so much me implementing the solution. Right now, it's me understanding what I want to implement, and I'm not sure I know what I want to implement. So right now, our accounts have names. So I guess what I'm getting at here is I really want a way to identify the same account, right? Like that's kind of what I'm getting at here is like I don't want to connect to, in this case, like I don't want to connect my Plaid student loan account multiple times. It can be connected to through different providers, right? Like it can be I can get data from it. I can get data for this account through Yodelay, or I can get data for this account through Plaid, but it still is the same account at the same place. So that's making me rethink things quite a bit. I wonder, let's see, does Plaid give you account numbers? That seems like it would be dangerous, but let's see. Plaid accounts numbers. Plaid uses virtual account numbers or tokenized account numbers instead of real account numbers for enhanced security when connecting to financial institutions. These unique app-specific numbers enable secure transactions with sharing actual account details. Users may notice these differing numbers, but they function for ACH transfers and do not affect funds. The metadata.account.mask field often displays only the last 2 to 4 digits of the actual account number in the user interface. Okay. I would like to rubber duck on this a little bit. You can make the user row independent of the institution. That's one option. What's the friction you're feeling right now? I guess the friction I'm feeling right now is contrived. It's this contrived situation I have where I don't want to lock my app into being tied to Plaid. So I'm trying to build the app in such a way that it can be agnostic of who the provider of the financial data is to some extent, or at the very least that the database is a little bit agnostic to that, so that if I do want to change, I can change. But I don't want I don't want to have to deal with like duplicative account data, right? Like I want all the like if I pull transaction data from Yodelay or transaction data from Plaid, I kind of want to not care, right? But I want it all to line up under the same account. But that means that I have to be able to identify, I have to have some way to identify that it is the same account from one provider to another. I don't even know if that's possible. Let's see, SamDDev. Then you can then just have a one-to-many relationship between the user and the institution. And then for the institution can be any options you allow. So I guess right now what I have is I have a one-to-one. Or no, I have a one-to-many. So I have a one-to-many between user and institution. The problem is the provider. That's where the sticking point is here, is the provider of the financial data, right? Because my system is not really acting as the system of record. I'm using the financial provider data sort of as the system of record. I can't think of a. Let's see. Let me try to write down my problem statement. Maybe that'll help make it clearer. And maybe Jim and I can help sort my thoughts a little bit, and that might make it more clear to chat too. Let's see. I'm trying to build a personal finance app. This personal finance app is sourcing its data from a third party API. Right now, I'm starting with Plaid, but I don't want my app to be locked in necessarily. For example, if in the future I want to migrate to a different service like Yodelay. I don't even know if that's how you say that. Yodelay. The sticking point I'm experiencing is how to handle reconciling data across different third-party providers. For example, let's say I connect my Vanguard. Let's say I connect to Vanguard via Plaid and bring in information about account 123, but then in a few months I switch to Yodelay and I want to connect Vanguard through that service. I don't want to have duplicate entries in my app's database for the same institution and account. However, there isn't really a shared identity of those of Vanguard as an institution or between the services, nor can I identify the existing accounts because the services don't provide bank account numbers. Any thoughts? Well, we're going to do pro. We're not going to do amateur. We're going to do pro. Mint had all kinds of user interface affordances to allow users to correct its assumptions. Yeah, that might be maybe that's the best way to handle this, is some sort of reconciliation, like in the UI, where I can say, oh, you've connected these institutions, and yeah, they were connected through different providers, but you have the ability to sort of merge them. Maybe that would be the best approach. Like, maybe this isn't something I can handle like in a nice way. Maybe it does need to have a specific migration path. Well, thank you, Gemini. Thank you for making me not feel bad. Oh, it's 7:15? Shit. Okay. Damn it. Well, I feel like I don't feel like I was very productive today. This is one of the most, okay. Aggregators often tokenize account numbers or use virtual, yeah. To solve this, you need an abstraction layer, an entity resolution engine. Here's the architectural approach. Don't let Plaid or Yodel data structures dictate your primary database records. Yep, and that's what I'm doing. Yep. Yep. Okay, I'm doing something like that. I'm already doing this. So why this work? This allows one internal account to have two connection records attached to it simultaneously during a migration without duplicating the transaction history or balance. The heuristic matcher. Since you cannot match on IDs, you must match on a fingerprint of attributes. When a user connects a new institution via Yodel, you run this logic against their existing Plaid accounts. What? Oh. Look up Yodel's institution ID. Query existing accounts. Score the match. Let's see. You cannot automate this. Oh, this is what you were talking about, Bob. Gemini basically said the same thing you said. So Gemini is just stealing your intelligence. It says you cannot automate this 100% of the time. You'll need reconciliation flow for the edge cases. Fuck. Create a unique hash. Okay. So the thing is that I don't think I want to do the heuristic. I think I'm just going to build a specific UI around this if I ever need to do this. Yeah. I think I'm just going to build a specific UI around, because I don't want to make a guess. I don't want to do this bullshit. This is like you're guessing. I'd much rather just say, hey, we switched providers. You got to go in and do some sort of mapping or merging or something. I'm going to have to think on this some more. Dang it, Google, stop stealing my brain. Yeah, you already had the right answer. Okay, so this is a hard problem, though. This does make me feel like less of an idiot, because I thought like maybe I was there's like an obvious solution to this, but this is a hard problem. Because the hard problem is because there isn't a shared identity for these accounts or these institutions across services. So my app has to try to serve as the system of record, but that's kind of a crapshoot, because there's not some sort of unique identifier that I can glom onto, other than using some sort of heuristic of like like it said mask. Yeah. Okay. This is probably going to look a lot different in the morning when we get back to this, because I'm going to plan on working on this today or this afternoon after work for quite a bit. So this is probably going to look a lot different, but when we come back tomorrow, I'll talk through it, whatever I decided on doing, so you guys can know where I went with it. All right, chat. Well, I thought this was a fun stream, kind of a chill, mellow stream. Steven didn't really accomplish much. Steven just kind of sat here and talked to himself. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Unfortunately, it's time for let's see, you don't even need a UI. Scope it down for now. Just build this for yourself first. Bob, I'm going to steal your message there, because that's the problem. Is I'm trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist yet. And that's what's hanging me up. And I just, like you said, I just need to solve this for myself, and then we can figure out the nasty bits. Importante. Okay. So let's just push this up real quick. Feature. Oops, that's what I'm gonna do. Oh, whoops, no. What are these migrations doing? Oh. Let's see, core. Relate users to integrations and institutions. Migrate migrations to support new relationships. All right. Okay, guys, I gotta stop the YouTuber life and go back to work. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. 3 hours did fly by. Goes by quicker and quicker all the time for me. Azray, hello Azray. I'm sorry you're showing up and I'm leaving. All right, so let's do my normal outro. If you're new here and you want to hang out in the future on stream, the best place to find us is live here on YouTube and Twitch from 4:15 to 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. You're all welcome. Come hang out. Just enjoy the vibes. Drink some coffee with us and work on your own projects. If you want to interact outside the stream, the best place to find us is Discord. The invite link's super easy to remember. It's just discord.stevenfreeborn.com. And all are welcome. Obviously, if you're an asshole, we'll probably end up kicking you out. But if you're a kind and generous human, you're welcome in the Discord. Azray, I'll join tomorrow. Yeah, no worries, man. If you can make it, we'd love to have you. Sometimes timing's hard, just trying to line up everybody's schedule. So, all right. I hope you guys have a great and wonderful Thursday. And if it's Friday for you, have a great Friday. And hopefully I'll see you guys in the morning. All right. Bye, guys. Bye. See you, chat. See you, Bob. Fireworks Studios. Bye, Azray. Bye, Sam D. Bye, I should be dead. Sorry, I completely missed your messages. I'm really sorry. I should be dead. That's my bad. On Karsh, Josh. See ya. Uncle Pee Wee. Have a good day. All right. Bye, guys. Bye. Bye. See you, Slim Shady.